Okay, this video is about how to use flashcards for studying and some of the variations on that. This right here, by the way, is called Leitner boxes. Leitner boxes are where you put the flashcards in the first box. I would just have them in my bathroom. That was where I had my laundry, right beneath that in my bathroom when I was studying for one of my boards exams. And basically, you look at the first flashcard and you see, do you instantly recognize it? If you instantly recognize it, it goes to the second box. If you hesitate for a moment, that means you don't know it as well. It stays in the first box. And the point of it all is that you spend more time on the stuff that's challenging for you. So this is also a form of spaced interval repetition, meaning that you periodically go back to the flashcards and you review the material again. So it has to make it all the way to the completion box before you're done looking at that flashcard. And again, the benefit of this is you're constantly challenging yourself with the material, and you're spending more time on the ones that were difficult for you. Because a lot of students just look at their same old highlighted notes over and over without engaging the material. So this, I think, is a good way to use flashcards. And again, you can have this quick moment where you get something valuable out of it. You got to go in the bathroom anyways. You might as well always do at least 5 flashcards or something every time you go in the bathroom. When you're studying for boards, this can be a helpful type of knowledge. Flashcards are good for binary topics, stimulus response, like foreign language vocabulary, microbiology, bugs and drugs, pharmacology, stuff like that. It works well, but it doesn't work as well for trying to understand a large interconnected system like biochemistry, molecular, metabolic pathways. It's not going to be that good for that. Because a lot of things in biology, biochemistry, like a story. This happens first, then this, then this, then this. And so that's more of a connected thing. That's a different type of memorization. One of the things I liked about it best was, again, quick, makes useful time, something useful come out of walking into that bathroom. There's something called Anki. Anki is an app on a phone, like your cell phone, and that is this thing right here. And that Anki is a good way. I used Anki I didn't even learn about Anki until I was already, taking my boards for the continuing certification of qualifications. There's the initial boards exam, and then there's a follow-up CAQs. So I didn't even know about flashcards when I was younger. Here's the Anki symbol. And that was real good. I used it on the computer one time, and I was real happy with that for studying. Okay, now I want to also show you about these curves. These are learning and forgetting curves. So here is where you memorize something, and if you don't rehearse the material, use it again in some way, you'll forget it pretty soon. And this is called the forgetting curve. Okay, and the guy who first did all this stuff was a guy named Ebbinghaus. I think he's a German guy, and he would look at nonsense words and you'd see how long would he remember them, how long would he forget them. We'll come back to Ebbinghaus and the forgetting curve in a moment here. Okay, then here's meaning. And when something is meaningful to you, like when you learn how to drive, that's important. You never forget that, okay? You're dating a girl, okay? And you say something or do something and it really annoys her and she's pissed off, she breaks up with you or won't speak to you. You're like, that's important. I'll never do that again, okay? You do something and she likes you. She gives you a big kiss. You're like, hey, that worked well. I'll do that again. So anyways, something that's important, you remember that. You'll often remember that the rest of your life. Something your mother or your father told you, that's important. So what I'm trying to say is the Ebbinghaus curve is based on nonsense. And the funny thing is it correlates pretty well with what is learned in school. And eventually nonsense tends to be forgotten. And that's why most of us have forgotten a lot of stuff we learned in school when we were younger. But anyways, getting back to how it works in real life when you're studying for a test. This is what's called SIRS, Spaced Interval Repetition Systems. And what it means is you're already at the beginning of this curve here starting to forget something you learned in class. But you look at it on your flashcard and you've had a repeat interaction with it, so now you remember it better. You start forgetting it again, repeat interaction with the material, and you remember it a little better. So you keep on doing this and you kind of keep your level of memory for that subject going. It's kind of like learning a vocabulary word in a second language. Let's say Spanish, for example. If you only see the word once, you're unlikely to remember it. But you see it once, you're reading some more, you see it again, you see it again, you see it again. And then by the time you've seen it about anywhere from 6 to 10 times, now you've got it. And you'll probably remember that long term. Okay, so that's the point of spaced interval repetition. So this is a spaced interval repetition system, having the Leitner boxes for flashcards in the bathroom. This is a spaced interval system, having Anki, which you can put on your phone or on your computer, just to keep you working with the material. The other thing is, again, flashcards are good for things where you just want to get a quick little study moment here and there. But some people overdo it with flashcards. They can become real bulky and cumbersome and a pain in the butt. I knew one guy who actually did real well on his boards. This is for diagnostic radiology. He had a giant picnic table in his apartment living room, and he just had all these different categories of subjects in these flashcard boxes. The other thing, too, one of the reasons though why I like my condensed notes and stuff is I'll have it in a book. I can always go back to the book. Some things you just want for the test, and you don't even intend to ever go back to that book. But other things, you want a long-term preservation of that knowledge, and you'll like to keep going back to your condensed notes or your word processor file. So you have to decide for yourself if it works for the subject. And for me, I think one of the best things is just this idea of I'll get a quick little bit of value time when I go into the bathroom. So anyways, that's some thoughts on using flashcards. Hope that was helpful.